Well, probably the people I play golf with all the time won't be happy about it because they have to listen to me here all the time. But outside of that, I'm really excited about it. I mean, I live here, and it's going to be really exciting to have Flyers hockey here back at the shore. Years ago, we had a flagship station down here, but to be back on is really exciting for everybody.
Yeah, 50,000 watts, 8 South Jersey counties into Delaware. Tim Saunders and Steve Coates, the voice on the Flyers radio network now. And, this team, did not make the playoffs last year, Coach. And that's usually a very bad sign for this team. But do you have good feelings moving forward that they took the right steps and are going in the right direction?
Well, I think the one thing that's very, very obvious to everybody is that Ron Hextall came in as a general manager and said, listen, we're not going to do what we did in the past. And when I say that, the Flyers were always constantly trying to do what was right to win every year. And if you take a look at the numbers, since 1967, there's only one team that's got a better winning record since that time, since 67, than the Flyers. That's the Montreal Canadiens. There's only been one team go to more Stanley Cup titles, and that's the Montreal Canadiens. So they've constantly been in the hunt, but the problem is they haven't won a cup. So Ron Hextall said, it didn't work before. We're not going to make the splash anymore. We're not going to go get the Roenics every year, the Forsbergs, the Prongers. We're going to stay in our system. We're going to draft correctly, and we're going to build through the system. And so far, we've taken 3 defensemen in the last 3 years. Everybody says they're absolutely top-notch prospects. He's stuck by his word. He hasn't made any big deals, and he's going to stick with the guys until he finds out that he has to do something differently. He believes in this team. He's got some real good core players, and hopefully he can build in the other players that we just talked about this season.
Yeah, a lot of teams that win have great pairings, and the pairing of Jake Voracek and Claude Giroux expected to be an integral part of this team for several years. Are they, to you, on that level of when you talk about a Stanley Cup champion, you talk about a pairing, would those two guys be on that level?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, they were top 10 scorers last year. Think about the fact that they were playing on a team that really had trouble scoring, and still were in the top 10 in scoring. I mean, both of them. So, it's no difference to Mike Raffl because he was the guy that played most of the time on the left side with him. But think about this: there isn't but one forward of all the group last year that did not play on the left wing with Giroux and Voracek. That tells you that they were trying to do everything to be able to make things right for that line, and they just couldn't find a left winger, and that one guy happened to be Sean Couturier.
Yeah, and we talked to Coach Hextall earlier about him, and, it seemed like this guy he's only 22, but it feels like Couturier himself, Coach, he feels like he can add more. Do you feel the same way, that there's more in him to give?
Oh, yeah, I think there is. I see flashes of the offense. I think we put too much emphasis on the fact that you bring up 22 years old. Think about this. 22 years old, he's been in the league 4 years already. He's going to be in 4 years. So when you take a look at that, I mean, the kid's got a long way to grow. And, I mean, we expect him to score, but he was an offensive player in the minors, or actually in junior. So I think that sooner or later he's going to blossom. But remember, we put so much onus on him to be able to go up night after night against the top lines of every team in the National Hockey League. That puts a lot of pressure on the kid. And he was +4 last year, considering the fact he had 15 goals, and I believe 27 assists, 28 assists. So I think there's a great upside. We know he can play defense. We just need to get that upside as far as offense is concerned.
Yeah, another guy, who it seems like he's been around forever but still is very young is Braden Shen. And the Flyers said they're not planning on re-signing him just yet. He's a restricted free agent for next summer, but have we seen the most from him, or do you think there's more from him as well?
Oh, I think there's a lot more from him. I think that Braden Shen, we did an interview yesterday, Kimmy and I talked about Braden Shen as the guy that's going to control his own destiny because he has to be more consistent. I mean, he was the guy that lugged a lot of the time when Raffl wasn't on that left side with Giroux and Voracek, and he really didn't come up with the offensive ability. I mean, if you go play with two guys like that, you've got to put some numbers up, and that didn't happen. The one thing that's good about Braden Shen, he can play left wing, center, and right wing. He actually played pretty good at right wing at the end of the year. I think he was put there by accident because we had so many injuries, but all of a sudden he really blossomed. So maybe he's one of those guys that plays better on the wrong side. But I really believe that Braden Shin is a guy that's got a great upside, but the upside has to be more consistency.
Interesting guy for me, going forward here too, is Michael Raffle, who I thought was a guy last year who just kind of came out of nowhere, and not a lot of people knew much about him, but he had just the 28 points in 67 games. But it sounds like he's a guy that people are excited about with Dave now being in charge.
Well, I think that all's going to bring a real upbeat type of program, playing philosophy. We talked to him yesterday, and he's not going to change the system very much. He's going to be tinkering a little bit, but why come in and try to completely change the system that the players have already played? Everybody in the locker room knows what they've got to do. Michael Raffle, we expect so much from him, but we forget that just 2 years ago he came here as a fourth-line center from Austria, and we've been playing him on the left side. So you talk about a propensity to get better. This guy ranks right up there. I think that really he's one that now that he's got some comfort, he's a really good kid, got a great attitude, worked his tail off last year to gain some weight. So it's going to be interesting to see what he brings to the table this year, and you're going to see it right away in training camp.
Training camp, by the way, Thursday, September 17th. They got their first preseason game on the 21st. Don't blink. Flyers hockey will be here before we know it. Tim Saunders and Steve Coates will have the call right here on 97.3 ESPN as Flyers hockey makes its way down the shore. And we're very happy to have you guys on board. That'll be awesome to be able to now hear the games down here. And, it'll be here before we know it. And it seems like a team that did make the playoffs, but it seems like there's a lot more confidence entering this season than before.
Well, I think that you've got all the ingredients. You've got the ingredients of, first of all, Hacksaw wants to bring everything from the back. What I said was, and I mentioned that before, the defense are going to be very involved. They're going to that first pass coming out of the zone has to be right on. They want the defenseman to do that. I think that we have that type of defenseman that, if you take a look at the Stripes and the McDonald's and Michael Delzato, these are the guys that can lug the puck out and do the good things to be able to get that puck moving and getting moved forward. Now, everybody's asking about McDonald because he did not have a good year last year, but I think that he's got a good upside because he was running about 27 minutes a game with the Islanders. He got to us, and we always thought, wow, what a great first-pass defenseman. Suddenly got himself into a little bit of a rut last year. I don't know if it was a big contract or he got married or whatever it was. There was a lot of things going on, but I think that he'll make a good comeback this year. So those type of defensemen are the kind of guys that Hacksaw wants on his team. We have the ingredients. We know we've got some good forwards. We got to get more out of Umberger. We got to get more out of Reed, more out of Shen. These are the guys we look for to be able to provide. We know Simmons, Voracek, and Giroux will put up in numbers. The other guys got to chip in.
It should be fun. Training camp right around the corner, and of course that first preseason game, and then the opener on October the 8th. And you'll hear Timmy and Coatsy right here on 97.3. Well, enjoy the rest of the summer here, and we look forward to hearing you now on a more regular basis.
Michael, I'm really excited about it, and I know that the Flyers are excited about it, and I look forward to talking to you a lot more this year.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll be hearing you on my drive home now. That will make me very happy. Take care, pal.
Thank you very much.